As we've been telling you, there have been hosts of Indian leaders who've been attending these sessions as well. Caught up with Jamshyd Godrej on the sidelines just to get his thoughts on what he's interested in at the conference, what the view on India is, issues that we talk about back home, corruption, etc., whether they're in focus here at all, or is it entirely different? Here are a bit of that conversation. Mr. Godrej, I just want to get a sense from you on what you think the big theme is going to be. You've probably been coming here for the last 4 years, and it's all about one crisis after another. Is the mood any different, any better this year?
Well, I would say that there is a clear understanding that developing countries are moving quite well. And so the focus will always be on where the growth is. And there are lots of developing countries with good growth today. So I think that's a good thing. But we need markets at the same time. So it is a little disconcerting that Europeans are still stumbling to find the right answers.
Are you sensing any sort of disinterest or maybe just a little bit of disappointment in the way India has performed? I mean, back home, we talk about it all the time. Are you picking it up from global leaders, global participants?
No, not really. I think that 7% is a great number for anybody today. So I think we're disappointed only because we know we can do better.
So back home, if you've been following developments, I think the Reserve Bank of India has finally sort of started cutting interest rates. Industry probably relieved at least about that aspect?
Yeah. Well, they haven't actually cut interest rates. They've just added more liquidity in the market, so which is a good thing. I think that gives the right signal.
Just final words, what is sort of the specific interest areas for you here? What are some of the sessions that you're looking ahead to?
Well, my main interest now is on energy security, renewable energy. And so I try to spend as much time as I can on that.
Back home, you also talked a lot about corruption, governance. Are those issues you're picking up here, trying to look at best practices globally?
Well, I haven't picked it up here yet on those anti-corruption ideas. But everyone talks about it. I think we haven't really understood quite clearly what are those good policies that are necessary for that. But the best one is transparency. And, I think we have done quite a bit on that in terms of right to information and things like that. But transparency in all types of government dealings is, I think, and in the private sector also. I mean, transparency in all types of dealings, whether it's contracts or whether it's, giving orders between companies and between governments. I think that is one area where I think everybody is stumbling. The transparency is not comfortable for people, and so we need to keep pushing it.
One last question, not directly related to the businesses you're in, sir, but there's a lot of fear about protectionism, particularly last night's State of the Union address from President Obama has sort of sparked that off again. Yeah. Real fear, actually, in a slowing global economy, wouldn't you say?
Well, I wouldn't worry too much about it. I think that during election years, it's always been the case in America for people to talk about it. So I think the businesses who realize the value of outsourcing and realize the value of moving into developing markets will always do that.
All right, that's been the action so far from Davos. We're all now going to go for an entire lineup of interviews that we have planned for the evening. You'll probably see most of them tomorrow morning on air, Ashu. But we're going to rush and get some preparation done in line for those interviews.
Absolutely. And as you wrap, just one small question. And I was very interested to hear that conversation you had with Prashant about the outsourcing controversy. And you seem to ask that question. One man's food, another man's poison, it seems.
That's always the case, right? Maybe that's also part of capitalism, isn't it?
I was just going to say that. Okay, Ira, we'll leave you there. Make sure you have a good lunch and, of course, a good busy day ahead of you while we kind of just ease into the evening and make sure everything's live and we get you the best from Davos. Thanks, Ira, for joining us. Okay, that's the time we have. Well, for the moment, we'll head into a break, come back and get you more.